What's up, Crash It Nation? This is Jonathan Wood. This is episode number 49 on the Crash It podcast. We thank everybody for tuning in, for listening. I know been gone the last couple weeks, missed a lot of stuff. I've just been going through some stuff, and we're back. We're going to be better than ever. And right now, we've got uh, joining in. We're going to recap Eldon, Missouri's figure eight and demolition derby that we had this weekend with Lucky Sevens Promotions. And joining in right now, we have the JP Lawn Care number 69 himself, Jordan Piter, joining in with us. Thanks for coming on the podcast, Jordan.
Thanks for having me.
So, did you guys face any challenges? I know you ran New Bloomfield. Did you have any challenges to get your car back to the track to come to Eldon?
Yeah, we actually had several challenges. We've been messing with a couple. One of them's got a new motor, and we've tried to simplify it, and we're trying a couple different things on it. And we fought everything from wiring to finding out it was just a computer to we've had a hard time keeping a spindle in one. We think we got it figured out. The car with the new motor, unfortunately, only got to make 3 laps at Eldon, and then broke a tie rod and an axle. And so we didn't really get to mess with it a whole lot to see if we had it dialed in or not. But overall, I think we got them figured out, but time will only tell.
Yeah,
I think he had quite a few challenges to get over. I mean, hell, he couldn't make more than just like 2 laps. I mean, that's a challenge right there.
Oh, I knew that was coming.
Yeah, I was cracking up because in the driver meeting, for everybody that doesn't know that's listening in, I was in earshot of the drivers meeting one of the first times, and I was kind of cracking up because in the drivers meeting they said, hey, we're gonna have 6 heats, and the top 2 of each heat's gonna go to the A main, and the top 2 of the B's. And then someone said, yeah, that way you don't have to win your heat to get in. Maybe some of the people that can't win their heat can get in. And I may or may not have heard Jordan's name get thrown out.
That's all right. That's all right. Sometimes you just gotta knock them down while you're down. Jason gave me a hard time the whole time, and I told him, I said, don't be surprised if I cross that finish line in first place if you're getting the middle finger. And sure enough, that's what I did to him, and he just started laughing. So,
oh heck yeah! So, what heats did you draw? You brought 2 cars, right?
Yeah, I actually drew 3 and 6.
Heat 3. How'd that go for you?
I thought that was going to probably be my heat. That, like I said, we've been fighting that car every race, and right off the start after the first turn, we were getting pushed into the tire, and we locked the brakes up, and it wasn't long. We just got tangled up in the traffic, and somebody just caught their front wheel just right and broke tie rod, and I stayed in it, and then I sheared the axle.
And I seen that you got 7th in that heat, so I was wondering what took you out on that one.
Yeah.
So how was the track conditions for that race?
That race they were really good. I mean, it was still dry at that point. Heat 6, the rain literally started as we were getting ready to pull on the track. That's when it started coming down real hard, and I was soaked from head to toe when I got off that track. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, they wouldn't know about that. They were all under the canopy while all the track officials were getting wet.
I didn't have a canopy to stand under. I mean, I had a whole pile of wet clothes that I had to wash when I got home. I was standing next to the canopy, and they were all looking nice and dry. Tommy was like patching there was little holes in the tents. They were using like derby sticks to brace the tent up and tape to patch the tent up. So, how did the track change from heat 6? That was when the downpour came, right?
Surprisingly, I've been getting a lot of opinions on the tire and wheel combo setup that we got on that car, and we call it chrome wheel car just because it's got chrome wheels on it. But to me, I actually thought I got around really good. The car performed about as it could, as good as it could have for the conditions being like that. So I actually didn't mind it. But when I pulled off the track, it's one of those things you're just not thinking about. I never did put a hole in the floor, and I probably had 3 inches of water in the floorboard, so my feet were soaked. It was fun.
Oh heck yeah! So you had a tidal wave every time you would hit the brakes or speed up or whatever that came to you.
That's the first thing we did when we pulled off the track. We started putting holes in the floorboard to help drain it.
So you got to the A main. You got first in the heat 6. Take us through your A main. Looked like to me it went pretty smooth for you.
It for feature overall, I thought it was a pretty smooth race. I took a couple of good shots in the center, but really my only thought that I had going into that was just hoping the car would perform and hoping that something small doesn't break. There's nothing worse than losing over a small part. If I lose because I'm the worst driver, that doesn't bother me as bad as some simple break-in. So I was just glad to see the car performing and be able to pull off the track.
Heck yeah. So in the feature race for the listeners that are tuning in, we were listening on Spotify. Jordan, you were in a battle with looked like Landon Worthy and James Fisher and I think Chilton and Blaine were up there as well throughout your first like 10 laps of the feature. How's it feel when you're racing door to door with them guys? And it looked like you guys were racing each other pretty clean for the most part. How's that feel for you guys? Just to be able to go out there.
It was a blast. I knew the first probably 7 or 8 laps. I knew that James Fisher and I knew Chilton was right there, and I know we was going back and forth, and seemed like we were all trying to follow the same line, and we were all trying to stay on that tire, so we were fighting for that a little bit. But there was one point of the race where we actually had a car pile up at the other end, and I ended up getting pushed out and had to throw in reverse. And at that point, I really didn't know where I was at. I couldn't. When I turned around, I saw there were several cars that went around me, so I wasn't for sure if I went from stayed in second or third, or if I went to 5th or 6th. And so I wasn't quite sure at that time. And then when I saw Jay give the white flag, I was like, I think he gave that white flag to me. And we had just popped a tire, and we got to the other end of the track, and I could not get the car to turn and ended up hitting a parked car. And that's when Landon actually got around me.
Yeah, and Landon just joined us. Thanks for joining the podcast. How's it feel, Landon, whenever you coming around, see the white flag? Did you know you were in the hunt at that time?
Yeah, I'm sorry we got here a little earlier, but I had to take some bare back and body from old Piter nailing me in the ass around that corner trying to push me on out.
There's a cheater right there.
Yeah, he said he gave you a little love tap.
Yeah, love
and
tap.
I was thinking, yeah, that was a love tap, all right.
My ass head was straight till he come around the corner. And I feel bad for Blaine. I mean, Blaine probably would have took second had he went up underneath or maybe even won it.
Well, and what's funny is I knew Landon had got around me, and the only reason why I knew he was pretty excited in the car. So at that time I knew I was like, okay, we just crashed for first. And I just stayed on the throttle. On the very last lap, friends are no longer friends. And I had full intentions of sending him all the way to the barrier. And I was going to try to take the inside on him, and it wasn't 2 seconds later. I go to hit the brakes to turn, and I think Blaine had the same idea because he hit me in the back, and I just stayed in it and was hoping I'd get around him, and it didn't happen.
Well, that's what happens. You try to cheat.
Yeah.
Like, by the
But
way, you
you
come
win?
help me fix my ass in my car, right?
Oh, I wish I'd have knocked the rear end down so he could have moved.
Well, you broke a weld, so I got to re-weld it. Then I got to take and chain it down and lift the ass end back up again.
You just got to get a little better at welding.
Yeah, I'm going to have to get on Wesley about that.
Yeah. Well, did you lose any bumpers? The bumpers are still on, right?
Yeah, my bumper's still on. I don't know how Jordan's bumper's still on.
Because I can weld.
Shit. I'm going to inspect your car next time. There's no way that some bitch has stayed on.
Well,
No,
right
it's
before
good.
you
It's
came
good.
on,
It's
Landon,
good.
right before you came on, I was telling Jordan, you guys were racing pretty much door to door most of the race. There was like a group of 5. And how's it feel just to be able to run a pretty clean race with a bunch of guys that you're used to running with? And did you all know the whole race that you're out front, or is it one of them things that the white flag comes out and you're like, shoot, I might be in the running for this?
Well, I knew that I was up near the front, and I knew Jordan was right there with me and ahead of me at times. It seemed like it just kept going back and forth. And then I wasn't for sure if it was Blaine or Chilton that was up ahead of me at one point. So I didn't know which car it was. And then when the white flag come down, Jordan was ahead of me, I knew. And then he got caught up a little bit at the other end of the tire. So that just kind of gave me my opening. And then I didn't realize it was that damn close till I started watching the video. Like I said, I bet old Blaine's just kicking himself right in the ass. If he'd just slowed down just a little bit, went up underneath, he'd have probably won the damn thing.
Yeah, it's crazy how this is 2 weeks in a row that we've had a finish that we've had to really, go back to videos, and we had to get Jacob's point of view from what he was seeing. And that's 2 races in a row that you just had to get on there. And you're like, dang. We had all night long, we were going back to videos, getting close finishes. And, man, it's just, it's good for the fans. It's good for the sport, and it's got to be exciting for the guys in the cars.
Oh yeah, it was a close one. I thought just in my heat with Edgar. That come right down to it. We was taking the top 2 in the heat, so I didn't think much about it. And then once we got around that last tire, and I realized how close I was to him. I just went ahead and gave some gas and see if I just couldn't nade him out of the way. Or a piter.
No, you didn't hit him hard enough for that.
No, I try to race a little bit.
I will say if it was anybody other than Landon, I probably would have been a little more gentle, but I wanted him to feel it because I got about a phone call for a week after New Bloomfield crying about how I put about it, and it ended up being me.
It was purple, goddamn it! It was purple.
Well,
no, it was all good. I like them close races like that. Makes it exciting.
So you gave you gave Edgar the treatment you got from Timbrook last week, huh?
Yeah, almost. Well, and then when we was in Russellville, Nate kind of pushed me on out of the way and took it. Which if I did it, I'd have done the same thing, and I would have done the same thing Jordan did too, or tried to.
Well, before we get off your Piter and continue on with this BAS team real quick, you got anyone you want to thank for letting you do what you do?
Oh, this year we've had a big help. The sponsors have really stepped up. Without them, we definitely wouldn't be running new motor. The wife definitely, she puts up with it. She absolutely hates the sport. She does not enjoy it like me. She definitely thinks I'm a hillbilly, but she just lets me do it without complaining. So
Dang, you better renew them valves.
Oh, no. Only thing I wish I'd have done different is I wish I'd have laid it out a lot sooner. And I did tell Jacob, and this is honest truth. Lane is getting close to retirement, and I was worried he wasn't going to get a win, so I just hit the brakes.
Yeah, he did. He did.
My ass in my car says differently.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I know. I got another 30 years left in me.
But it's got to feel great, all the time and effort that you put into them cars to actually, and to the sport, to see yourself on the podium finally. And that's got to give you confidence going forward to the next one.
On the podium, hell, I'm just glad he made 8 laps.
Me too. Oh, no, me too. Yeah, it gives you something to look forward to, and it blows my mind how you can spend 6 months working on 2 builds and run into the issues that we've had, and the time and checking them over, and it just blows my mind how I seem to throw a car together in a night or two, and you go out there and you'll do great with it, and then you spend some 6 months working on a car and you just fight tooth and nail trying to keep it going.
Heck yeah. I got one more question before you get off here. So you got Brandon all talked into this figure 8 deal? I've been seeing him a lot more. It's awesome seeing him out there too.
I don't think it was me. It's easy it is for all of us to say, we quit or we walk away or this or that. I quit for 3 years and you just get drawn back into it. It's one of those things that if you quit the sport, you might as well just stay at home, because if you go and watch, it won't be long and you'll be putting another car together.
You guys
You're
got
certainly
anything else
good for the
Jordan?
sport. We're glad to see you changed your mind and made your way back. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on and giving us your side of the seat for your the recap show. We appreciated it.
No problem. Thank you guys for having me.
See you,
Just
buddy.
keep improving. Just keep
Hey,
improving.
good job, Landon. You won't hear that from me again. Good job, buddy. We'll see you guys.
See ya.
See ya. All right. Well, we got another BAS team member that popped on here. We got Jordan Tobin doubling down with the Mad Dog and first place in the Gut and Go. Thanks for coming on, Jordan.
Thank you, guys.
Jesus. Out there, Jordan?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
All right.
So, I gotta ask you, how'd this all come about, Landon, with BAS taking on Tobin here? How'd that shake down? It seems like to me, BAS is just picking up a bunch of free agents. Heck, we even seen Kyle Wardenhausen show up in a derby car. I can't tell what team he's on. He's on Full Send Mafia, DBR, now he's on BAS. I'm confused as an announcer. I'm like, am I supposed to announce all 3 of these teams or what?
Well, I can say he's definitely part of the Full Send Mafia. He is running with us in Blizzard Bash. He's hoping to help, collect some checks before Blizzard Bash for the Derby season this summer. But no, and he's racing figure 8 DBR. It's just one of them things. He's gonna run with us with Bash, and we just want to get a feel with running with each other. Now Tobin, I don't know what's going on with him and Wes and how that all come about. I don't know who done what for what favor, but Jordan's with us, I guess.
Well, I'll tell you what the word on the street is
Oh,
they all just share the same old ladies, and then they just get together on the same derby team.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, well, I don't know if there's any truth to that or not, but I can assure you I'm not sharing my old lady with anybody. Not that she's high maintenance or nothing, but maybe it would be a little easier on my pocketbook. She's sitting right next to him. If you see somebody coming across with a fist.
Yeah. Landon gets knocked out on the Crashed It podcast.
She hits harder than Piter.
So I got a question.
I got a question for
Tobin.
Okay.
So what's it like being back in the saddle again after taking a few years off to pursue your career, and then you come back last year? You had, I don't know if it was struggles, but you didn't have the success you're used to, and then you start off this year with a win. How's that feel?
Feels good to be back in the saddle, kind of back in the old style, just driving it.
Yeah. So what was with the layoff? Why'd you take a couple years off?
Started my own business up, put all my time and attention and money to that. Got it going, accumulated a few cars over the years. So now I'm sitting on a pretty good little plethora for this summer.
So how was your run? How did you have any struggles getting the car to the track, or was it a pretty good build for you?
Yeah, I like to build quick, easy, to the point. It really brings it down to the driving. I like the gut and go class. That's what I'm doing now. I got all my cars, basically for gut and go class. So don't have to put near as much time and welding and labor into them. So.
Well, you can be like Landon and just have Wesley build it.
Wesley owes me, so he has no choice but to build it. That's the payment I get out of him.
I was gonna say he didn't have too much helping hand last week, but we got her going.
Oh yeah, it's nice. Jordan was helping me with another car I'm building, and man, he's like, I don't know if I remember how to do this, and he had shit done, trunk tucked in less than 20 minutes. And I was like, yeah, you really forgot how to do this.
Took him back to a little old school tuck.
How did your run go during the gut and go, Jordan? Did it go the way you planned, or was there anything that caught you off guard out there?
Old Terp, he always catches me off guard. Other than that, I went in with a game plan. We's gonna try to make a name. Try to run a little harder than what I normally do, and Terp made me do it. Damn him.
So walk us through that. Did Turpin initiate that little battle? It started at, I want to say it was probably, I think we're down to like 10 cars when you guys started getting after it.
Yeah, he come up and smoked me and got me in the front wheel and the door pretty good. And had plenty of people left over. I was like, okay. He gave me a thumbs up. I gave him a thumbs up, and it was on. I tested out C-Lock's tune on that computer. You see it on the harness and everything, and that sucker run real good.
And you won another C-Lock EM with the Mad Dog.
Hell yeah!
There was one shot I think that sealed it in a lot of people's mind. You didn't get my vote, just being transparent here. But there was one shot you put on Terp. It was like right in his passenger door. How did that feel? What kind of walk us through that shot?
At that point, I had a full head of steam. I was circling the entrance, just picking my victims, and at that point, we had just started it off, and he had kind of followed me around. Somebody got him sideways, and wired just first gear and 6,300 RPMs, and I just figured I'd float the valves all the way across the track and It's not usually a shot that I take, but I was in a moment and I took it, and it felt pretty good.
Yeah, that shot surprised the hell out of me, to be honest with you. Just because that's not a shot I see you take very often, hitting the cage.
And it's not, and I'm not going to say I really did much damage to my car, with these soft bumpers, the frame, your bumpers take a lot of your impact. So, I wasn't really too worried about that. It was, just proving a point, he started it, and, I was doing everything I could to finish it.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So were the BAS, all the drivers, were you guys running pretty hard? Did you guys have like a plan going out? Is there a certain someone that you guys were gunning for? Or
I think the certain
like
someone
there's
was pretty obvious. And the bad thing is I think he was told, like at Tech, you know how Wesley is. He says, I'm going to go after you. Well, I don't know too many people that don't believe him when he says he's going to go after somebody. When he said, hey, I'm going to come after you, he's going to come after you.
Yeah, the big show got the big show.
Is he that big of a show that you got to show up with 6 cars just to take out one? I mean, is Big Show that good?
He must be something to have everybody go after him. God dang, boys.
Yeah, it wasn't. I don't think it was just them. There's a couple other people I was heard out in the pits area, and I was like, damn, he don't even know where they come.
Yeah, I heard you guys down there rounding up a bunch of people. I think you guys rounded up about 20 of them to go after him just because you couldn't do it yourselves. So.
It'll draw for more cars the next round. I guarantee it.
Hey, we love rivalries. That's what
I figured.
Sport needs. That's what the sport needs.
Yeah,
No, it was all good.
It's a fun show to watch, the gut and go class. I was enjoying it the track, it just got done downpouring for a good 20 minutes probably. And during heat 6, that was our last figure 8 heat right before the gut and go came out, and we scraped the track, but you could see standing water on the track. And you guys were giving it all you had out there. We could tell with the conditions of the track. I was surprised on how well everyone was moving around out there. And you seen some shots that people probably would have steered out of, but they couldn't because they had a head of steam. And it's just wherever the shot got hit, it wasn't a perfect angle, but that's what they could do with the track. So,
I was impressed.
Go ahead, Jake.
I was just going to say I was impressed with all the gut go drivers. I mean, hell, Big Show, for example, he got out, got his ass handed to him, and still went around and shook everybody's hands, and nobody was fighting. And I mean, you guys all left it on the track, which is awesome. So that's
I think Wes and him
drivers.
I think Wes and him even talked afterwards. So I don't think there was any hard feelings or anything over there. It's just one of them deals that, hey, I'm coming after you type thing. And I don't know that he didn't believe that he was going to come after him, but I'd say next time, Wes, hey, I'm coming after you. You might want to, he is going to come after you. Friends or not friends, that's just the way he is. Wes could be a bit of an asshole, as everybody knows.
Mm-hmm.
So Jordan, was there as derbies progress, I know that the first 5 minutes, especially with gut and go class, is always kind of wild card. You're watching your own stuff, but is there a point, or was there a point that you remember where you're like, I'm in control of this derby? Like if I do what I need to do, I'm gonna win this derby.
I mean, that's any derby really, if you got the right mindset. I mean, from the get-go, hey, if this one person doesn't come after me, I got a pretty good shot at taking this. That show, I mean, it was everything was a wild card because I couldn't get around for crap. I had street tires on, and I went with a lower profile tire that I actually got on a car from Kyle and Landon last year. I ran them at Carnage because they're smaller. You don't need a lot of aggressive traction out there. So I was like, it's usually perfect for that track. So I went with a smaller tire, and I couldn't get around very much. But the longer the derby went on and the more RPMs it pushed, it it just eventually went. And, I mean, we got down, like I said, when Kurt started coming after me and I concentrated on him for a while, by the time he waved me off that he was done, it was down to 4 people, and then from there, me and him could kind of work on the Fulton boys and the purple and black cars.
I'm glad you pointed that out. I seen that happen on the track, and I was like, man, I think them guys just looked around and said, shit, there's more people out there. We probably need to work on them before we take each other out.
Yeah, I mean, me and Turp always got that little rivalry on the track. We've duked it out numerous times. State Fair last year, it's always in good fun,
Was there one person that you had to keep your eye on, like going into it? You're like, man, I need to watch out for, like, you had to know where that one car was on the track the whole time, or did you feel like anyone was gunning for you?
I wouldn't say anybody was. I don't know if anybody's really gunning for me, but I always keep my eye on Turp because you never know where he's at.
He's kind of like a Wesley, but quieter.
Is it one of them things where it's like, there's some alphas on the track, some people that are going to be there at the end, and then it gets down to 10 or 15 cars, and you're like, all right, now's my opportunity. I guess he kind of showed his hand first, but is that how it kind of is?
I mean, at that point, I think I was the only BAS car left. So, I was kind of out there free floating by myself. And, I always keep my eye on everybody, trying to memorize where everybody's at. And, if I hear something, I'm trying to spot it. So I'm out of the way and not taking a wild shot on myself. But.
Oh, well, good job, Jordan. We was really happy to see you guys show up out there with the team, and that kind of caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting a BAS paint job on your car, and I seen like your Snapchat has got to put new paint on it. I was expecting just an off the wall color. I didn't expect you to be running with them, and I think everyone that was there was kind of like, dang, they got Tobin running with them too.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of like coming in as like the wild card. It's them boys are kind of taking me in like family. I mean, it's crazy what a group of 5 or 6 guys can do in a shop. From arguing and playing around to just straight building cars, and it's hilarious. So like I said, they brought me in almost like a family. So I'm loving every minute of it.
Like the modern day New York Yankees, you're a free agent. BAS is looking to scoop you up.
And sponsors.
I mean, I sponsor them. I was like, what not better for, people to get with.
Yeah, I was like, man, they're like, someone's got to feel like the commissioner sitting back like, oh, this guy's a free agent. Yeah, just draft him. We'll make him an offer, pick him up. Oh, that guy, we just push him to the next team. We don't want him.
Yeah, we'll get Seth back and see if he's going to be on a chopping block.
Like I said, these guys are a great group of guys. They argue, they fight, they play. Nothing's all serious. But when I spent the whole night out there last Friday for the Derby. We worked on Landon's car while the girls painted cars. Everybody gets in and pitches in and helps out to get cars going. And I'm not used to that. I'm used to 22 years or so, building by myself. Nobody knew what I was doing. I did everything by myself. So it was a nice change of pace.
Yeah, that's got to be
how
nice
he said
for
girls. You didn't specify name because he still isn't real sure.
What's that?
I said, you got to notice how whenever he was explaining the girls help, he just said the girls. He didn't say names because he still doesn't have them memorized yet.
Well, you had Joni, you had Stephanie, you had Amber. They were all painting on the car at one time.
So, Jordan, are the big elephant in the room? Are you going to put something together for Richland next weekend? Have you seen the class?
No, I've never actually ran Richland. I'd like to run there. It just doesn't work well with my work schedule. My next time out's going to be Bell. They've got a real big 3-day build class going. That's going to be my next outing, and then I'll be back in Eldon again.
I just have the BAS guys build you one.
They could do it. And I'm telling you, you get the 5 of us on a car, I bet we could build a hobo car, gut and go car in one night. And nothing be shortchanged between the 4 or 5 of us. You know, everybody knows what to expect, knows what to do the right way. You know, it clicks pretty good out there.
That's good.
Congrats on the win, and I'm sure the BS was happy to be well represented in Eldon. Landon bringing home the win in the figure 8, and then you doubling down in the Derby. That's pretty awesome.
Like Landon said, they're just trying to stack checks for Blizzard Bash.
So,
are you running Bash with the team? Are you the 4th, Jordan? I may have missed that.
I have no plans on getting back in the mod car. Way too much time in them cars. I don't miss that at all.
So Landon, are you willing to spill the beans on who the 4 would be for Blizzard Bash, or are you just gonna wait for the list?
I'm gonna defer to Wesley on that one because I'm not opening my mouth. He's wanting to keep it a secret.
Yeah.
It's kind of like them Woods boys. Who's their 4th running guy? Nobody knows.
We don't have a 4th.
What?
No, we don't have a 4th.
Oh shit! There you go, Tobin.
Yeah.
My mod days are over. I do not miss putting 3 and 4 rolls of wire into a car. Whew.
Jordan, before you get off here, do you want to thank anyone for helping out with the car, or any sponsors that you got?
The whole BAS team, they're, like I said, they're like a big group of families. I sponsor them. They take care of me too. Everybody was in the pits, my good luck charms, just a little bit of everybody that was there and had a helping hand. My guy Kyle that works for me, we built that car for Carnage, the gut and go class up there, hobo class up there. We built it in like 4 days because we were like a last minute entry. So, he had a big part in helping me get it fixed up after we got it back. Helped me build it for up there, and we fixed it when we got back, put a new tank system, wiring harness, got everything done. He's a big help on my stuff.
Yeah, it's always nice to have a bunch of help on the car. I know every driver appreciates it, or builder appreciates the help.
Oh yeah. Even from the little things, like when we're in the pits, we had a great group of people in the pits with us. Had like 30 people underneath one little canopy when it started raining. It was just a straight up good time, good people.
Yeah, I didn't have the luxury of being under a canopy. I was out there getting soaked, and
oh man,
all I could think is, why didn't I buy a freaking poncho?
I learned real quick. First thing I'm gonna start doing on my cars is knocking the floorboard holes out, because I had about 1.5 inches of water in my floorboard all derby long.
Must be a Jordan thing. Piter had 3 inches of water in his. You had 1.5 inches.
It was crazy. I'm glad I thought I was doing good. I brought a tarp. I tarped up my seat, covered my computer. Yeah, I forgot the floorboard.
Thanks for coming on the podcast. I know you're a busy guy.
I appreciate it. Thanks for putting on another good show. We the drivers enjoy the smooth shows, especially when they're good ones like that.
All right, well, good luck on your next derby.
Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Hey, Landon, before you get off here.
Yeah.
So take us through, I know yours is extended a little bit. Take us through your run, like your heat. We didn't really get to specify on that too much. You had
Well,
a close heat race.
yeah. Well, when I found out we was taking top two in the A, top two in the B, it just, and I was starting in the middle and not the very back this time. I thought that was a nice change, and just try to stay up near the front with Edgar there, and his car seemed to be running pretty fast, but I get behind him, then I lose it, get back in third, and then, just I try to drive smart, try to cut underneath the other cars, and then, like I said, when I seen the white flag come down, then I tried to move in a little faster, and then I think he got caught up in that one of the tire there, and it slowed him up just enough for me to kind of catch up through the middle, and then when I knew I could probably catch him, I just went ahead and floored it just to see if I could get a better spot in the feature, and so he went out a little bit wide, and I helped him out by going underneath and pushed him out a little further than I'm sure he wanted to be, so I could. And it was close. I didn't know if he got it or I got it. I didn't know till y'all announced it, because I knew it had to be really, really close.
Yeah, and you took us through your A main a little, but how's that feel? I mean, you've been, knocking on the door of winning again, being a past points champion. How's it feel to kind of get out of that slump that you were in to get right back up in the winner's circle? How'd that feel for you?
It felt good. I mean, it just, you take third or, fall back, get took out in a consi where you felt good about winning a consi, and one stupid little hit takes out your tie rod and that ends your night. But I mean, it happens. It gets frustrating sometimes, but you just come back and see what you can do. Just keep on trucking.
Yeah, it's true competitors like yourself and everyone that we had on here. You guys have been doing it for a long time, and I mean, it shows. I was sitting next to a group when I was walking around. They were sitting there like, man, you can tell the veteran drivers on the track. You can tell the ones that are just starting out, and they said you can just sit here and watch, who the new guys are and the veterans and how they approach the corners and stuff differently, or the way they adjust. They make adjustments on the fly on the track. And I thought that spoke highly of all the class and the quality of drivers that we get each and every race. And I just thought that was cool that even people that have never been to a figure eight before can point that out. And
Yeah, there's a lot of the drivers that start now, and they're actually, they're coming around pretty quick. Some of them integrity drivers was even pretty impressive as far as this year going and how they're driving. They seem like everybody's driving skills keep getting better and better, so it makes it more competitive and more interesting. And that track, you just had to adjust how you was going to drive with that track. Seems like the track changed after every heat. The hole got a little bit deeper, or if you got out too far, not only was you hitting the hole, but you was hitting that hump, and people was popping axles out. So my goal was just not try to hit it real hard and just kind of suck in close as I could around the tire. And then while I was doing that, my car really didn't seem that fast, but the closer I got around the tire, not get out in the humps and jumping around and getting hung up, it seemed to help me out catch up with the guys that was getting around it a lot faster than I was.
You say your car didn't seem that fast, but you had the second fastest lap of the entire night in that old. How many races that car have on it?
Oh shit! I don't know. I keep telling Wes, like, remember, ready to retire, and he's like, nope, keep on going. I think he's purposefully not finishing my other car just to see how many races I can get out of that damn thing, but. It's going to need a little bit of work done to it. I hope I didn't blow the head on it. I have to check that out yet. But that motor, I blew the motor up in it last year and then put a new motor in it towards the end of last year. And it seems to be holding together pretty good so far.
Yeah,
I had no idea I had the second fastest. I was like, man, there ain't no way, because I was driving slow and getting up and around that corner. Maybe it was just cutting the corner a little closer, not going balls deep in the corners and around the tires.
Yeah, I was super impressed with. It seemed like that car was on a different level than it has been the last few races. Maybe it was just you, but yeah, you were putting up some really impressive lap times.
I was trying to drive a lot smarter than, because last time that track was in that bad of shape, it didn't work out in my favor at all. So I definitely wasn't going to try to push it real hard in the corners. If I was going to push it, I was going to push it in the middle.
Yeah, I want to ask you a question about the track conditions. I know the rain really played a huge part in it, but did it feel like there was any kind of bottom to the track? Like a nice solid foundation anywhere you on the track, or was it all soupy to you?
Well, right through the middle, both ways, it was fine. And the one tire wasn't near as bad as the other tire was. And at the beginning of the night, it didn't. I thought, man, this track is a lot more solid than I've ever seen it. And then, it didn't take long. It must be just that part right there. I don't know, but when you start cutting around that tire and them guys are, spinning them tires as fast as they're spinning, it didn't take long for it to dig a ditch right there. And then when it
Yeah,
rained, of course, that made it worse. But everybody had the same driving conditions. So, I mean, it was, if your shit was going to come out, it was going to come out. So and I seen it once you go out past that dip and got in the other little hump and you was going nuts and wasn't letting off, you was popping an axle. So I took it easy and hugged the tire as close as I could. And then as soon as I got around the tire, then that's when I'd gas it.
Yeah, I want to shout out Ray's Lawn and Landscaping and Simpson's Grading. They spent out, I mean, they spent a ton of time on that track trying to make it right. And I mean, to me, it looked like it was a lot better than it was last year. Obviously, there's still some work to be done, but I just wanted to shout them out because they worked a lot of time on that track
Oh,
to try to
it
get
showed too from the pictures, it looked like somebody put some time in it, rolled it in, it was going to be solid. I mean, but when you got Mother Nature, nobody can predict what she's going to do, obviously. And you add some rain and some V treads, it don't take long to dig some tires and some fresh dirt. But I mean, everybody had to deal with the same situation no matter what. So it's either, if you're going to try to get it, go out, take a chance and pop it an axle, or do what a lot of us did, hug that tire, hope like hell nothing popped out.
Yeah. So what's next on the agenda for Landon Worthy?
Well,
Where are you driving?
I'm gonna keep the same car for the next one, I guess. I'm gonna make sure I didn't blow a head in it, the head gasket. But if I didn't, that car will be back out there. It was started smoking, so I don't know if it's radiator or something else. I'm hoping it was just a radiator. But and then I don't know if I'm going to try to put the car back together to compact for Richland or try to finish up this other one. But I don't really want to rush it, but I do. So if that makes any sense. But we plan on being at Richland.
Awesome. That's exciting to hear for all the fans of the BAS racing, and they're going to be at the Derby in Richland. So we wish you luck there. Thanks for joining us tonight on the podcast.
Thanks for offering.
Thanks, Landon. Thanks for everything.
Yep. Appreciate it.
If you're in jail, call Landon for bail.
Hell yeah. 24/7, baby.
Thanks, Landon.
Yep. Y'all have a good one.
Yep.
How do I get out of this damn thing?
Should be like an end button or something.
Oh, leave meeting thing. Gotcha.
And there he goes.
Yeah. So as we heard from some of the drivers, we Lucky Sevens Promotions was on June 10th. This last Saturday, we were in Eldon, Missouri. I think there was a total of 99 cars. If I seen on the derbies of the Show Me State page, that's what they had. They're pretty reputable source of knowledge there. So I wanted to make sure that that's probably about what we had, right?
They're an official car counter.
Yeah.
I think we had 96, but or maybe 99 showed up, but 94 ran or something like that.
Yeah. So we had our figure eight, we had the gut and go, and we also had our first JM Derby Products street stock derby. Were you guys happy with the turnout that you got out of the street stock guys, or?
I was happy. It seemed like we didn't get the total amount of quantity, but the quality was good. It seemed like everybody that was out there, it was a good show, and they were all good builders. So I thought I was pretty happy with the turnout.
Yeah, I mean,
When
as
we
much
talked-
as the guys up north hyped this thing, they, seemed like around March time, before Whiskey City, before Peoria, before all the big shows that happened last year or last week, everyone had plans to come, and things come up, cars get more bent than you plan or something like that. But yeah, just like Dave said, it's quality over quantity. I think 12 showed up, 13 showed up, 10 cars ran, and all 10 of those cars were veteran drivers, good builds. So yeah, I was all right with it.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna continue to grow.
Yeah, I seen a few drivers they came up and talked to us. I think they talked to you too a little, Joshua. They were asking questions about the street stock class, and they wanted to know where the next one they could run at and stuff was. And I think it's going to continue to grow. And I mean, looking at the general scope of the show, there was a lot of weather that looked like it was for sure going to happen, and we definitely got it. We have a new weatherman, Tommy Stark, calling it freaking on the dot every time. But every driver I talked to said the tech, Tommy ran a really fair tech, and that's what you want to hear out of your drivers that show up. And like you said, these are quality drivers, veteran drivers, and they all felt like they got a fair shake, and that's got to feel good to you guys, knowing that, coming away from that.
Yep. Tommy does a really good job. I don't know if there's anyone around this area that has as much knowledge about full size derby as he does. So it's good to have him, and on our side, in our tech line. Can always feel confident with him looking at cars. So
Yeah, and the radar. I mean, to the dot.
oh yeah, 1050 hit, called it on the dot. Just started pouring right when we're cleaning up.
Yeah, so it was like 6:30, and he's like, "All right, guys, it's 7:02. It's gonna fucking pour." I mean, it started pouring. I look at my phone, 7:02, and he's like, "But wait, there's a gap. We're gonna see a gap. We got till 10:50." And I mean, right at 10:50, we all looked at our phones. We were packing up. We're like, "That motherfucker nailed it. Nailed the dot again." So
Yep.
that's awesome.
Jesse has been replaced as our Lucky Sevens meteorologist.
Yeah, the person that studies meteors. Yeah, I thought it as a whole, it was an awesome turnout. I mean, you guys got just the following that it's awesome. Show up 50 plus figure eight cars, 20 plus gut and goes, and just to get a quality drivers in the full size class. I was really impressed with it. I think everybody that showed up was impressed with the car count as well. I mean, sometimes you go to the Derby and you'll hear rumblings of there's not very many cars or something like that. And, I didn't hear any of that. Everyone was just having a good time. And when the rain started, luckily there was enough pavilions around that most people stayed pretty dry, except for the officials and me. But most people stayed dry.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the night went well, aside from the rain. We're 3 shows in, and I'm sick of rain already. First one we got rained on. Second one they called for rain, we got lucky, and third one we got rained on. So Man, I'm praying for no rain the rest of the year. We went out and bought ponchos, so hopefully that's our golden ticket here, Jonathan.
Yeah. So started the night with the figure eight. We had a little issue in the first heat. Was it a bag or something that was delaying the system a little bit up on the transponder? What was hanging up there? I noticed after the heat.
Yeah, but that wasn't the issue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, whenever we set it up wrong, whenever we set up the event, we set it up to where the minimum lap time had to be 30 seconds. So it just wasn't counting that first lap. So we had to go video review everything for the first heat anyways.
Yeah, that's some hiccups that you have, but people don't ever know about. I mean, it was a great first heat. You had Landon Dow and Tim Brockman leading the way, and Tim probably felt like, man, this race is lasting forever. Think he did a couple extra laps, but that I was thinking, man, he's probably gonna go back and watch the video and be like, what the heck, man, I did 11 laps or whatever. But him and Landon had an awesome battle going on for the win there. And Corey Jenkins was right up there driving 76J. That was Jared Hatch's car. But Beth Anderson, man, that 1776, that car is on the track. You got to be on head on the swivel. They don't stop in the middle for nothing. The crowds, I've noticed, they really like that car and the driving style of Beth, and does awesome. Youngmeyer looked like he broke pretty early out there, and I don't know what happened to Piter. Brandon Piter was in that. Nate Dummermuth broke pretty much right off the get go. It looked like he popped an axle. I didn't really get a chance to talk to him today. It was a fast heat though. They were flat moving. In heat two, Blaine Tobin coming home with the win, and also getting the pass was Jared Snurch. Rhett Kiesling, he was out there in his new car. He got third place. It was nice to see Rhett back out on the track. Seeing a lot of new cars starting to show their face. And I was at somebody's shop today, and looks like they're putting together another new car. As an announcer and as your guys' brother, it keeps me excited for the sport, the direction that it's going. It seems like the races are a lot closer than what they've been in the past. We said it last year, like, man, these races are all close. And man, just going back and watching the races from this weekend, every race was just, I mean, if it was either for the win or for second place, it was, I mean, within fenders of each other. They're less than car lengths. I mean, they're all photo finishes, and that's just exciting for me as an announcer. And sometimes I wish we had a scoreboard or some way for the fans to just know what's going on, because man, them races are so exciting for the people that know where the position is. And I feel like the fans know in the heats because it's a little easier to follow. They know like who's winning and stuff. And I could see people starting to stand up in a couple of heat races, and you'd see the crowd standing up trying to see who won, if it's like by a bumper or whatever. And that's just exciting to me.
Yeah, that we're working towards that. We know that, and like you said, it just keeps getting closer and closer. But we know our sport and our races are they're way funner to watch than circle track races. And we keep getting these photo finishes. I mean, it's been a photo finish for the feature, even the last two shows, and certainly there's one, it seemed like every night at least, that's, just right there, or there's a couple lead changes, on the last lap, seemingly always. You know, I know, and Jacob knows, and that our races are the best, and it's awesome for us to watch because we know what's going on, and we want to bring that kind of, that transparency, or that, this is who you need to watch because they're on the lead lap, and to the fans. So that's on our radar. We're still trying to figure out how that's going to work and how we're going to get a scoreboard everywhere, but we're definitely working on it.
And while we're on this subject, I've been brainstorming a lot. I wanted to ask the drivers and their families just to kind of give me a little feedback. If you guys would rather wait a couple more days on a video after a show, I could add a ticker with, like, how a NASCAR race will have your top 3 or 4 drivers. To the heats, I could have, or to the events, I could have a running ticker, but I would have to do some extra editing on the videos. But if that's something that you guys would like me to add, I'd be willing to spend time on the videos just for you guys to add that little extra piece in. So just give me some feedback on that. I know
Them guys want them videos immedially. The night of it.
That's what I was saying. They're itching as it is to wait. I think I had like 112 messages this last one. Like, you got them videos done? I'm like, they're uploading.
I was excited to watch that feature video, and it's been a while since I've been pumped to watch the feature video, but I was ready to rewatch that, and it was awesome. They did a good job.
But in Heat 3, we had Dylan Chilton bringing home the win. Brenton Holdle Sharp coming in second, and third place, Tracy Snurich. Fourth was David Gerling. That was a rough heat. We had a lot of dead cars on the track. At the end of that one, I think there was 2 cars running. Looked like at the end of that heat.
Tracy just straight up she just takes people out, and I love it. It don't matter what she's driving. It's just awesome.
Who's that? Tracy?
Oh yeah, the Ford TT. I love it.
Oh yeah, she made the TikTok reel again. I don't know if you guys had a chance to check out the latest Crashed It TikTok, but I made one. Old boy was coming across the middle, got fed a bumper, spun around, and here comes Tracy. Bam! Spun him back the other way. All in like 3 seconds. It was awesome. Fans love that kind of stuff, but that guy, he had a bad night. I mean, from the drop of the flag, didn't even make it a lap.
Yeah, I think it's something in the water in that Versailles Stover area over there. Her and Han and everybody, they just love to get out there and drive, and they just have a blast. And if somebody's in their way, they're going to move them out of the way.
Yeah, Heat 4, Landon Worthy edging out Johnny Edgar. Edgar suffered some pretty catastrophic engine problems with that race. I don't know if you guys got a Snapchat or not. He's down another motor. 3 races, 3 motors. So, feel bad for him, man. He's been putting in the work. He said, my car's let me down, and now I dropped 2 spots in the points. I got that one right after you guys posted the points.
Yeah, he's really coming along. It's a shame that he can't get a motor to hold together, but yeah, he did good in that heat race. I think he's been definitely earning a lot of respect from local, like the veteran drivers. Like, hear Landon talk about him, and it's got to feel good for Johnny to get that kind of not sure the word I'm looking for, but that kind of
recognition.
Yeah, the recognition. Or
It was nice to see Chad Bish back out there. He looked just like his old self. He was really taking them turns good. And this race, they were battling out there. And Bish was right there as well as Chris Agee. That was his first ever race driving James Fisher's old car. Them four were really in there, and so was Dustin Thompson. That was like a 5-car battle for 4 laps. This was one of my favorite heat races to watch. Integrity Motors, they were well represented this race. I mean, this in Eldon. I was really impressed with all their drivers. Heat 5, James Fisher comes out, sets the blazing fast lap, making two events in the row where he had the fastest lap. Nick Long driving the 09L coming in second over Joshua Craig, Lori Egger, Clinton Hartley. Dustin Weekham, another strong showing out of him. And man, them Cardwell boys, Tony Cardwell, he just had some more bad luck. It's 2 races in a row. He's went out there in his heat. He's had some bad luck, and he's putting in the time and effort to try to get up there, and he just had another part failure. It looked like.
This is when it
them
started
boys
raining.
right there. Yeah, them boys right there. They don't leave their cars on the trailer like the Ferguson boys. You can tell they add something. They work on their cars every week or every time they get a chance. And there's always something new on their cars when they come through the tech. So they're learning. I think near the end of the year they're going to be right there in some A mains and competing for some podium finishes.
Yeah, I love their team name. You guys catch that? Wild Card Racing for Cardwell, Wild Card Racing. And one of them's got Joker cards on his number sign is
it's Dylan.
Yeah. Dylan. Dylan has Joker on his car. I thought that was cool. So
yeah, they're definitely coming along. If there was a rookie of the year, they'd be front runners for sure. But man, someone who would impress the hell out of me this heat is Ricky Bobby. He's got out, led a couple of laps, gave Piter. Is this that heat? The Ricky Bobby Piter heat? Oh man,
that's next heat.
Getting ahead of you.
Heat 6. We're on heat 6 now. Ricky Bobby was out there with Dylan Cardwell and Piter and Kyle Wardenhausen and Dawson Gump. They were and Jake Timbrook. They were like freaking battling in this heat. And Ricky Bobby was spanking them all for a couple laps. I like it. I liked his paint scheme this time, red and white with number 3 on the side.
I don't think that's his paint scheme. I think the car was just red.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's his stock color.
I was trying to give the man some credit for doing something.
No paint scheme. Oh shit!
His paint scheme is literally a white 3 on whatever color the car is.
I don't know how many fresh Cavaliers that guy's got, but dang, he shows up with a fresh car all the time, it seems like. Doesn't look like he builds them too hard, but he's always there. He shows up to the events, and his driving's getting a lot better from what was it, 2 years ago or a year ago when he started. We started
always
seeing
has
a lot of shows.
Yeah, always has the best attitude too. Can't beat the guy's attitude. Just always happy, always got a smile on his face, and he's always usually there before me.
Yeah, I mean,
there was
dedicated.
Yeah, he's freaking awesome. There was also the first maybe the first PT Cruiser we've seen figure eight. So that was fun to watch.
Lee Bruce and Robbie Crater, Matt Youngmeyer rounded that one up. I didn't know what happened to Matt. It looked like he was up there for a couple laps and something happened. Probably an axle. Seemed like that a lot of people were losing axles.
Yep, the track was rearing its head at a lot of drivers, but that happens.
So we touched on the gut and go earlier in the episode with Tobin. The Tom Wardenhausen, man, he was my vote for the Mad Dog. He come out there and just he made some hard hits in the van, and I was impressed on the amount of cars to vans ratio. I was expecting to see a little more vans out there, but we had 4 vans out of 24 cars and 20 cars. And them cars were kind of ganging up on them vans. It was nice to see. Henry Ray was running a van, and with his experience driving cars, I was really like, man, he could win this thing. He was driving smart, keeping the front end towards the berm for most of the night, and he was down there. He ran it down quite a ways. So
Yeah, shout out to Casey, and she had Mr. Gabbard. I can't ever remember his first name. This boy was on my basketball team, but he's a big old boy, and he was riding with Casey, and she got blindsided right in the driver's front wheel, and it just shocked the hell out of him. And he said it got his leg. I seen him tonight at the ball game. He said he was healing up. He's going to try to ride again sometime soon. So he wants to get back in one. So that's the kind of stuff I like to hear.
take some balls to ride with old Casey Ray. They call her the wild animal or something last year. That rain threw me off, man. It was hard for me to even have a sheet in front of me with the names. I didn't get to hit all the nicknames I wanted to, but man, she's wild out there. And it looked like Wes Jordan, he had a point to prove on Big Show. They were having a battle, and Tobin and Turpin were having a battle, and Austin White, he's shown up to be a force. I never really heard of him very much until Mocane. And it seemed like every derby that guy shows up to, he drives it down pretty far, coming away with second.
He said that car, he won with that car at Sturgeon in the gut and go class, and then he brought it to Eldon and got second in it. So I think you're right. Every time he shows up, he's somebody to be reckoned with for sure.
Yeah,
and that whole family just has the best attitude. Their dad, I think we've talked about them before, but they all build cars on Sundays. They build it as a family, and it's they always have such a good attitude at the show. I was standing next to his dad. I think his dad's car was parked in probably 3 foot of mud. It was all the way, mud was all the way up to his bumper, down towards the announcer stand. He goes, man, this is what it's all about. My kid got second, nephew got fourth. My car's buried in mud. This is I'm living life now. And just hearing that kind of just makes it all worth it.
Yeah, that's Daniel Bell that got fourth. And I don't know if you guys watched the Gut and Go video, but I zoomed in on his rider. She's got like face full of mud. She's sitting there like trying to wipe it off, get smoked.
Oh, shoot.
I was happy with the turnout. A lot of good drivers. Cody Bedsworth running the 728. Was that the car that caught on fire?
Oh yeah, car caught on
Yes.
fire, had the windshield wipers going, heater blasted.
Opens his door when the red flag comes out, and I'm going, what the freak, like, where's the chain or whatever?
He's a crazy sucker. I said, there ain't no way in hell I'd drive this thing. And he said, I don't care. I picked it up yesterday, and he had it there ready to. Well, no, he didn't show up ready. He built it at the track. So
Did he drive it to the track too? But geez.
he probably could have.
I don't know what happened to old Dominic Miller, but him and Brenton probably had one of the hardest hits. They both met in the middle, rear end to rear end, tail light to tail light. I don't know if they were both going for a different car and they just hit each other, or they were just going after each other. But it looked like a car was kind of there, and then it wasn't, and then they both ended up right into each other. So, they both had pretty good displays of hard hits before that. They were in my running for Mad Dogs as well. But all in all, with the gut and go, good show. The crowd seemed to feed into what was going on the track, and them guys, all them guys coming out with the support. We just can't thank them enough for the way the gut and goes drive. We seen like a cube. David Shaw had you just never know what you're going to get in the gut and go class, and I love it. I'm hoping we kind of see that trickle over to the Richland, the MWFA class. I really hope to see just all kinds of craziness out of that class, and I hope we get a lot of support down there in Richland. You guys got anything else on the gut and go before I move on? Nope.
Yeah, I mean, I just touched on a little earlier in the podcast, but it's always good. Those guys drive hard, and it seemed like every one of them gets out and shakes hands, has good attitudes, says thank you. We just have the best drivers, and they're always fun to watch. Those cars aren't really built to be driven the way they are, and they always come out and just drive the living shit out of them, and it's fun to watch.
Yeah, I was kind of watching Hayden Stafford, Justin Quincy's girlfriend. That was her first ever Derby, and I was kind of cracking up right off the bat. She like hammers it down. She's coming across track, and she just locks up the brakes right before she hits, so the whole rear end of the car goes straight down. And I was like, "Oh man, don't do that."
So did you guys see there was a hit that Wesley put on Big Show, and kind of put his hands out the windows and did the I don't know, some wrestler move. He's like, "Bring it on." Did you guys see what Big Show's reaction was, or did something prompt that, or is that just Wesley being Wesley? I just could see Wesley.
Oh, I'm sure it's just Wesley being Wesley.
Yeah, Big Show is kind of staring him down like, yeah, but I don't think he had the numbers on his side. Big Show, he put up a good fight though. He made some good hits. I'll say it. Him and his uncle, or him and his stepdad, went out there. And, it's always nice to see the skinny pedal down crew out there.
Hey, they knew what they were up against, and they still went out there on that track. So you got to give them something for that.
So right after the gut and go, we had our B mains. B main number 1, we had Nathan Dummermuth come out, and John Dow and Jordan Youngmeyer. That was our top 3 in the B main, the first one. That was a moment of just, up to some discretionary call. People, some people weren't too happy with the call, but we had the best video we could on it, and I think at the end of the day we made the right call. So
it was a photo finish. It's I don't know if there's any discretion that we showed. And we have to make tough calls. Again, we have big shoulders. Jacob's talked about it in the past. It's our job to make the tough calls. it sucks that it's back-to-back weeks for Jordan. It's one of them things. He's been in the sport for a long time. He's been on the right side of calls. He's been on the wrong side of calls. And back-to-back weeks. He was a little upset about it, but I think at the end of the night, he's like, yeah, that was a right call. And I think he's moving on, hopefully, and we'll see him again. But
oh yeah, he had so much fun out there. He wanted to use his pass just to go out to the A main and have some more fun.
Yeah, he loved that track surface so much he couldn't get enough of it. But anyways, something positive was Mr. Dowell's first A main that he came through. That he's been racing. I think he said it was his 23rd or 4th race, and that was his first A main. So that was really great to hear that.
Yeah, and he's coming along. That whole budget banger crew, they seem to step up their game this year, and I'm excited for the future of that team because every week it seems like they're all as a whole getting better and better, and you're seeing Landon and John stepping up, carrying the team. I hope John's back don't hurt too bad from all this, but it's fun to watch for sure. The excitement that crew has and brings to the sport's awesome.
Yeah, it was after the A main, he got stuck in the real thick stuff, and he was just the happiest go lucky. Man, I was in it for a while. Then he said, yeah, I'd sure like to get unstuck. I said, is that all that got you? Yep, that's all that got me. I just drove right into it. But he was just happy as hell that he was out there.
Oh yeah.
And B main number 2.
It's like the old number 20 was moving this night or tonight, huh? After the race, I was like, yeah, John has moved pretty good. He's all excited.
And something that stuck out to me, I don't know you guys how much game film you guys watched or anything before this, but he came quite a ways back in 2 laps to transfer on. He was like a half a lap behind Youngmeyer with 2 laps to go, and you'd see him just scooting across the middle. He was coming, and he finally got him at the very end. But moving on to B main number 2, Chris Agee. First night out, he pulls a B main win, goes to the A. First night ever in a car. Chad Bish gets second, and Timbrook got third. This was one of my favorite races of the night. Them guys were battling it out from the start of the race till the end of the race. They were just putting on a show. I think this was the one that Lori Edgar was up into, or no, that's the next one. But yeah, they were putting on a show. There was a couple other drivers that were up there. This was another 5-car battle. And B main number 3, Kyle Wardenhausen, Jake Timbrook, Matt Youngmeyer pulls out the top 3, and this is the one that I believe Lori Edgar was driving the wheels off the car for a few laps, and man, it's just it was a tough battle for this whole event. Kyle and Jake were really wheeling it out there. Matt was right there with them, and I think it started raining during this event as well. We caught another little rainstorm, so we had to see a lot of adjustments taking place on the track, and the veteran drivers made the right adjustments at the end of the show to move on. Also, I think that's that B main number 2. I forgot. I think that was the one where all the chaos ensued right off the bat. I think it was David Gerling who was on the wrong receiving end of that. That made the TikTok where he got hit, spun around, and hit again. But yeah, the B mains were all really close battles, and you couldn't ask for any better racing as a group. It's set up. We had our A main right after that. We scraped the track. One thing I want to say, Ray's had a lot of equipment there. Made the night go a lot faster. And I was thinking to myself, man, if that rain wouldn't have happened, how smooth that show would have went off with, with the amount of equipment that was there to pull the cars off the track. It would have been a really quick night if the rain wouldn't have happened, because we scraped the track 5 times and we still got out of there before we were out. The end of the night was before 10:30, I think. So that was impressive. Big shout out to Ray's Lawn Landscaping for having all the equipment there to get that done. It's awesome to see local support like that at a show. But in the A main, we touched on it earlier. It came down to Jordan Piter, Landon Worthy, Blaine Tobin, Jake Timbrook, James Fisher, and Chad Bish. They were all racing pretty much. They were shuffling each other's spot for the first 5 laps. It was and Chilton was in there with Nate, I think, for the first about 5 laps. And after that, it seemed like Piter and Landon kind of pulled away from the field and Fisher, they kind of avoided the traffic or getting stuck. It seemed like about everybody got hung up at one time or another during this event. And it was just seemed like it was one of them races that you had to choose your line wisely. You kind of had to know where you're going to go before you went there, and see a lot of veteran drivers at the top of the list because I just think it's their experience coming in. They've had to race. This isn't the first monsoon we've had a race in, and hopefully it's the last for a while, but you just never know what kind of track you're going to get. So I just think
that's one thing I noticed, was that it seemed like those top 3 drivers, James, Landon, and Piter, it seemed like they all was trying to run the same line, and it just seemed like they were on a different level from everybody else. They weren't getting stuck, hung up. They weren't getting in the thick stuff, and it just seemed like they had it figured out.
Yeah, and I talked to Fisher today. He said he blew his engine up. Before the race, it was kind of cool. He came over and he's like, man, I asked him, like, how is your temp looking? Because I knew he'd been struggling with it. And he goes, oh, it got really hot. But yeah, I don't like the way my antifreeze looks, but I'm going to send it anyway. And if he wouldn't have broke, I think the engine would have held out. You seen at the end, I think he popped an axle or something. You seen at the end all the smoke coming out of his car, and I think that was the tall tale sign that, yeah, he did a little more than pop an axle. So I didn't really get to talk to him for a whole lot of time because I was working, but I did get to stop in and say hi to him, and he was telling me his future plans going forward. And I don't know what happened to Landon. Dow, his car seemed like it was on rails again. He lasted a few laps, and then something broke on his car. But
dang thing came out on the feature. He pulled out, and it was already smoking.
Yeah, he got a mosquito killer. I just think Chad Bish, I mean, he was probably taking the corners as good as anyone out there.
Yeah, as good as I've seen him drive in a long time.
I just enjoyed watching him drive out there. It seemed like he'd put that bumper, his front bumper, just hug that tire. It looked like he'd drift around the tire, he'd swing it around there, and his front bumper and wheels would just be spinning all the way around that tire like Tokyo Drift on Need for Speed or something. And it was fun to watch him drive and make his way around the track. He was taking a different approach than a lot of people, and it would seem to be working for him really well. He just got hung up a couple times, and it might have been an even better showing for him. But yeah, just reiterating, we're seeing a lot of bump and runs at the end of the night on the A main, and man, seemed like that was a train reaction, and uh, Piter smoked Landon, and before we got started, he came on pretty early just to make sure his connection was good, and he was telling me, he goes, "Man, I just barely bumped him." I go, "No, you did more than bump him."
Well, I mean, what's the play there? That's what you have to do, right? I mean, is there another option? You're in second. You got 80% of a quarter, 80% of a corner to go. That's the play that has to be made, right?
Yeah, you could do that, or you could try the old dive bomb method that the youth drivers do. Honestly, I thought what he was going to do is kind of push him, but it was more. I think that's probably what he's trying to go for, is more of a push, but it wasn't very gentle. And
He
then try to
slapped him.
slide under him. He was trying to slide under him, but one of the problems is Nate was right there where he probably was wanting to go, and he couldn't because Nate was broke right there. And Landon just had enough to get back to the line before Piter. And I encourage anyone that's listening to this on Spotify to go watch it on the Crashed It YouTube page. Check out the A main. That was definitely, just check out all the show for all the nights, but the A main was another nail biter, and people were standing on cheering for their drivers. And I checked with Joshua before I announced it. I was like, these two, I had a good feeling it was between them, but I wanted to make sure. And I was trying to give the best dialogue I could going into that last lap.
Yeah, those two lapped pretty well, almost the whole field. It was just, it was their race.
Yeah, and that's one thing I noticed. It seemed like every time Piter would come across the center, just looked like the seas would part, and it kind of reminded me of the race for 28 with Kyle. We seen the same thing. He just timed it right every time to where it looked like the seas would part for him to go through the middle. And that's kind of what we seen on Saturday night with Piter. And it was definitely his race until he got hung up on a dead car. That's a going consensus. 2 weeks in a row, guys out half a track ahead and coming to the white flag, and they hit a dead car. And then they get past because of that. That's just that's our going consensus so far, and this is 3 weeks in a row. Looks like we're seeing the same trend we kind of seen last year. 3 races in, 3 different winners. And the top fours looked a lot different this year, though. We were kind of seeing some of the same names at the top 4 each race last year, and this year it's a lot of shuffling going on there.
That's good. We love parity.
So how's that put us for the points? If my memory serves, I think I picked James Fisher to be winning the points right now, and I think that's what he's doing. Over your pick, Joshua.
Yeah, those DBR guys, for whatever reason, they cannot figure out the Eldon track. It seems like every time they go there, they have bad luck. I don't know.
But that caliber of drivers, they're looking to rebound, and our next race is actually at Eldon again, and hopefully the weather's better for the fair show.
There
Interested
were
to see how
definitely
many.
there were definitely some golden nuggets or some like important pieces when you listen to Landon talk about, you know, his strategy, staying close to the tires, that are like, you know, those veteran little nuggets that drivers can listen to and pick up on that they can literally use in 3 weeks whenever we go back there.
Yeah, and I'm wondering how many of them people are going to pull out a stock figure eight car for the bump and run and the stock figure eight that's happening that Thursday night in Eldon. Before last year, we had 4 cars. Corey Burton better come defend his title.
You know, he'll be at a tractor pull, I'm sure. He likes them gay tractors. He likes to go, yay, I brought home the biggest trophy. It's like 2 foot tall.
$35.
Yep, he got a Bud Light with it too.
He said, "Man, I know them guys are going to give me shit." Yeah.
No, but so what we got next week? We're going to Richland next weekend.
Yeah. Going to Richland.
I just wanted to address something on here. So I've had a lot of calls and questions about the MWFA class. This class is literally a street stock class. So it's something you guys can build probably the morning of. You strip it out and that's it. There's no welding on the car. You can't even change the tires. It is a street stock build. Limited. I think the only thing you can't run is a full-size truck and a full-size SUV. Just because the height, you know, if you get one of those that run into a car that sits real low, I don't want them driving into the driver's door, like into the window. So none of the full-size trucks, none of the full-size SUVs, but I'm good with whatever else. So
Yeah, it's designed for all cars that you got sitting there and you don't know what the hell to do with.
Yep. Bring them out. Have some fun, guys.
Heck yeah. And please put some kind of chain or something around your door so it don't come flying open when you're out there. I mean, geez. I didn't realize. I was looking through that gut and go drivers list. There's a lot of experienced drivers on that track. I was just looking through the list one last time, and there's a lot of experience out there. Could have went anyone's way. So what else do you guys got for Richland? We can expect to see the MWFA class. That's Most Wanted Fine Arts class.
Yeah, we got our stock class. It'll be the first time that was our full size class last year. Our kind of our main attraction. Hoping to have a lot of those guys back. Maybe get some local support for that class. We got 4 stock. We have 4 stock shows this year, so I think it'll be a good show. And then we have our mod compacts. Our favorite, or at least my favorite to watch. We're bringing back out we're going to Blizzard Bash rules, so we're allowing cradle cars. It'll be a good chance for those guys that have been sitting on Bash cars or been wanting to run a cradle or even run without a cradle that's got some plates on it. So those cars can definitely compete.
Yeah, and maybe they have some new, setups that they're trying to try out. Kind of like Landon said, they're getting ready for Blizzard Bash, and what way to better test your stuff than at a local show and just to work the kinks out of, certain parts that you might be trying new or certain things that you just kind of want to test before you take it to a big show. Be a great chance for everybody to come out and put on a show while you do it, because that show never, that class never disappoints. Especially when you get like 10 or 15 of them things out there. And that's what we always, we hope for, just a turnout, because something that, the built compact class, we haven't really had a good turnout. Last year, I think you had at one, Lackey was the only actual compact that was there. Yeah, everybody's scared of Sean Lackey. Our compact champion last year. I wonder if he'll come out and swinging for this year to defend that title. Time will tell.
The compact champion. But yeah,
One thing,
yeah, I'm excited.
so the full size stock class, is that basically what you guys ran last year there, or has the rules changed any on that?
Nothing major. Nope.
So we could see some cars from last year that there was some people that had some stuff left, and I'm sure they're itching to get back in the driver's seat. And I know a couple people that were sending me Snapchats earlier in the season. It looked like they were building the same build style, and I didn't see them at the street stock show on the other night, so I'm looking to see them out there in the full size class as well.
Who is
You
that,
guys gonna
Jonathan?
Are you guys gonna do the I ain't saying names, they told me not to. Are you guys gonna do like the drag races again? The Derby drag races?
We could we'll do whatever.
Guy shows up with the
drivers-
MWFA drag race champion and
Yep.
jumps it MFA.
The drivers wanted that last year, so that's what they got. If they want to do it again, we're probably open to it. So
Yeah, that was just something different. It's something you don't see every day. And it was something different for the fans. I hope to see some local support this year. Now the guys out of Richland, Missouri, you guys had a derby there. Was last year the first derby in 7 years or something there? And
yeah, a long time.
I think the MWFA class, even if you don't have a full size car sitting around, that'd be a great introduction to the sport, or a great way to get rid of that lawn ornament that you don't know what to do with. You can always scrap it out after you go have fun in it. So what way better to send it on its last journey than to go out MFWA or MWFA style?
Yeah, and for the guys that don't really know what to expect or haven't seen videos or seen anything on Facebook with it, it's a class that's designed by this artist out of New York or Pennsylvania, Northeast state, and they just wanted to bring the fun back to the sport. But it's really grown all across America, and he's kind of been its own little thing. But it's like the perfect sport to, if you're wanting to get into a sport, if you're wanting to get into demolition derby with hardly any money. Like, you don't even have to buy battery cables. You can literally just spray foam around your battery and keep it in your hood. It's like entry fee. If you want to chain or wire your door, or even duct tape your door, that's really going to be the only expenses that you actually need to do. So it's a cheap way to go have some fun. It's also, I was thinking, like, if I were to run it, I would, or if I were running, not running a show, I would want to do it just to kind of get in a car and just have fun again. Not go out there and try running for, try to win a show or anything like that. Just go out there and hit people with, something I got laying around. And the typical car you see is like, your Ford Escorts or your your minivans or the SUV that you've got sitting out that's been a family car that second went out on or something like that. Just something you got laying around that you can't really run it anywhere else.
Yeah, and if you have an old cheap minivan, you see those a lot in the MWFA class, and you see all kinds of stuff. I can't wait. I think it's going to be a hit, and I think the people that do it are going to have a blast. They're going to be talking about it for months, wanting you guys to do another one. I think that's what you're going to see. That's my personal opinion on it.
All I know is Justin Quincy better have one, because this is like his dream class. He always says the gut and goes are too much of a build. So this has got to be his dream class right here. Strip it and go.
Oh, I can say with confidence that either the Rays or him have a MWFA car. I can't remember who sent me that Snapchat.
And for the check chasers out there that like to chase, shows with low car counts, this may be one, because we're trying new things with the MWFA class. We're still paying the same amount. You're still going to get a shot at an envelope. So even if you show up there's 4 cars, we're still going to pay out the advertised amount. I think it's like $1,200 purse plus a percentage of the pay, or a percentage of the entries. So it'll still be a good time.
Heck yeah, that's exciting for anyone that's listening. I'm sure how could you not be excited for that? I mean, get a car, knock the windows out, go have fun. And so with that class, do you have to move the gas tank, or if it's like in front of the rear axles, you can probably just leave it, right?
Yep. Probably build a car for this in 4 hours. A compact car.
Where would you find the rules? Like, what if someone's listening to this right now and they're like, fuck it, I'm building a car. Where would someone go to find the MWFA rules?
The lucky7promotions.com. It's on our rules tab. It's just NWFA from the street challenge.
Yep. Yeah, we look forward to seeing everybody out there. We'll probably hype it up some more next week on our podcast. But all in all, going back to Eldon, it was a good show. It was nice to see the support from the local businesses. We had a bunch of people stepping up. You had just people coming out of the woodwork, adding money and just supporting the show. And that's, when I see that kind of stuff, it makes me it really makes me feel blessed just to be a part of helping put on the show, and just the local support. People see, the amount of people, the exposure they get, the all kinds of stuff, and it just makes you excited about where the sport's going, and just the following that we get. We're so lucky to have all the drivers that keep coming out, and we appreciate everybody.
Speaking of Eldon, fucking our host didn't even talk about the street stock class.
Well, I started to, and you guys started talking about Richland. Dang it. So we also had your JM Derby Products street stock class. I'm sorry, I did kind of mess.
I'm at the concession stand for that class. Boring.
Jacob hates the full size stuff.
Oh yeah, it's kind of like Steven Sickles in the compacts. But full
Steven
size, they
Adams.
came out with the track. I thought they did awesome. Those them guys were giving it all they had. I mean, you could hear them hitting the rev limiters, and they were getting around pretty good. I really wish that we had better conditions for them guys, because on a better track, I see that show getting really rowdy really fast. And I was cracking up because we were joking with Micah, the owner of JM Derby Products. He donated a rear end bracing kit for the Mad Dog, and we had him on a few episodes ago, and we were joking around about, man, it'd suck for you. You're giving away a Mad Dog prize if someone Mad Dogged on you, and guess what? I mean, the guy loses his bumper, and let me see here. He loses his bumper and he comes across the track and just parks in the back of Micah. And I'm an avid listener of other Derby podcasts. I don't know if you guys listen to Hard Nose today, their podcast, but Micah was talking about his reaction to that. And he said, man, 1 minute I'm walking, I'm there, and next minute my rear end's on the ground because some guy parks it on me. And I didn't know until I went back to watch the video. He was stuck up on the wall from that shot. I didn't know that watching. And he actually said he was getting ready to break his stick, and because he was stuck, but he got out of there. But I just thought it was so hilarious that the guy that won the Mad Dog did it on the guy who's giving the prize away.
Yeah. It was a good hit.
Who was that? He was that 66 Derek Rank, right? And he is freaking pumped out on the track after the show. That's what we love seeing. All them guys got out, shook hands. It was nice seeing Rob Hewer, Eddie Chick, and some of the guys from up north make their way down to Eldon. A lot of experience between those two.
Yeah, there was, just kind of like you were talking about how it was kind of slow running. Track conditions were terrible, really. That whole about cut the track into like 1/3 or a fourth of the track was taken away just of mud. But there was still a bunch going on. Like Chris McDaniel was out there, and I think Big John's bone stock car, and he still wheeled it down to fourth. You had Jared Hatch out there. He was making some really, really, really good hits. He did excellent, I thought, for what he had.
Yeah, he was in my running for Mad Dog.
Yeah.
Jared Hatch was. He was driving really good. I even seen him take a couple shots. I was like, oh. I don't know if I'd have took that shot, because he'd come flying across the track and he like hit someone with his front wheel. I was like, that probably wasn't very good, but he looked like he still had steering after it, but that had to hurt his wrist. I mean, he was flat getting across there, just missed the guy with everything but his wheel.
Yeah, and then he's mixing it up with Rob and Eddie, and just kind of holding his own there for a little bit. So it was fun to watch. But there was a lot going on with those last, the last three. You had Eddie. I don't know what happened to his steering. They say he forgot to loosen a nut, but I think that's an inside joke between him and Teddy. But he lost steering like halfway through. Rob lost reverse, so that they couldn't really get after it like they wanted to. I think Micah was running into fuel problems, he said, or something with something with his motor. So there was a lot going on between Rob trying to not get in a position where he couldn't go forward, to Eddie Just trying his damnedest to make hits with people in front of him because you can't steer into a hit. It was awesome to watch, them kind of not so much play, Mad Dog Derby, but out there playing chess.
It was awesome watching Rob with no reverse, and he'd still put it in there like he had it. I don't know if he was trying to fake him out or what he was doing, but I mean, he went a long time with no reverse, so that was impressive.
Yeah, and he was in my running for Mad Dog too. At the beginning of the show, he put on 3 shots that were pretty good. I mean, they were well placed. Wouldn't expect anything less of Rob. When you watch him drive, I love watching him drive because his shots, it seems like he just squares up so well to them cars. Like he knows where they're going and they meets them right where, looks like a GPS out there. He's got their coordinates locked in. And it's awesome to watch the angles that he takes and just to square up with people and put 2 rails on one and the damage that he knows it's going to do. I mean, it's awesome. Awesome to watch. Tyler Ray, I feel bad for him. He had problems. They went down to Nebraska, lost the shifter, and he come here, same thing. Got stuck in fifth gear or something. There was a Snapchat. He might be looking for a GHE transmission in the future to replace his 3-pedal setup, but looks like he had it back together and ready to go. I mean, I think it was 1:30 in the morning, or no, it was actually like 11 or something. He said, I just missed the rain. He sent me a Snapchat. He had already pulled the car in, fixed the shifting issue and everything. And then the other day he was taking it on a test drive to feed his neighbor's dogs. So
Man, he must never sleep. He's always sending Snapchats middle of the night to me. Literally just gets done with the show and gets home and starts working on it. I mean, it's nuts what he does. He sent me a snap. It was Monday or Tuesday. It said, I'm not going to be able to make it to Eldon. Pretty bummed out. I got to change the transmission and do all this other stuff and got to help get my brother's car unloaded and yada, yada, yada. And then lo and behold, Saturday shows up and he's in tech line with a big smile on his face. He gets out there on the track and just acts like, it's somebody else's money, somebody else's car. He's out there rev limiting to, right off the bat. He's fun to watch.
Did you guys see him roasting tires? Like there was smoke coming out of his tires. There had to be some kind of bottom to that track because if you go back and watch the video, there's white smoke coming out of his tires.
Oh, there was a bottom. There was too much standing water for it not to be a bottom.
Yeah, so that's exciting going forward. But man, he was standing on it. And I felt like Keith Boyd was getting ready to turn it up. And this transmission had other ideas. I don't know if you guys seen that thing explode. Sparks everywhere in the car. I was worried. I was like, holy crap.
Yeah, I'm glad he had a floorboard in that thing because it's scary.
Yeah, I seen Joey over there after the Derby. He had a ratchet strap in there. I said, what in the hell are you doing? And he said the transmission was dragging the ground. So they was trying to get the motor and the tranny off the ground so they could pull it off the track.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I was over there kind of in that area and they were picking up pieces of the bell housing. I was like, jeez. But David Shaw, I don't know what happened to him. I think he ran into some tough luck. I felt like he was wanting to put on a better show. He just had some mechanical issues, one of them part failures that just didn't expect. I don't know if you guys talked to him yet about what happened or not, but
I think he said it was a fuel pump or something. It was something simple.
still looked straight. So there's a lot of straight cars out there at the end of it. Even the guy that Derek Rank loses his bumper and he full sends it into Micah. And it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I mean, it wasn't, his car's in pretty good shape still. Obviously, the radiator and all that's gone, but the frame rails looked pretty straight. I don't know if you guys went down there and looked at it any right after, but there's a lot left.
Yeah, I was
I think that
expecting
was
mangled, but it wasn't.
Yeah, I think that was an 03.
Yeah, that's an
09 or
03. Yeah,
yeah.
I think it's like 11 or something, or 07. I don't know, but it was
newer style.
yeah. Those things are hard.
There, I recapped the street stock class. Sorry, everybody. I got sidetracked there. That happens quite a bit in my life. So, but we look forward. We thank everybody for coming out. All the support. The fans stuck around through the rainstorm and stuff, and I was shocked. As hard as it was raining, that you look out in the crowd towards the end, and there's a lot of people still there. And heck, you go to the softball game or something, people were talking about it, and I love hearing just people talking about the Derby and stuff in the background. I wasn't even part of their conversation. I could hear them talking about the Derby. We had to chime in on that one, but that was tonight. There's people talking about they thought it was a good show and stuff, and that's what you want to hear. That's what you want to hear. But we thank everybody for tuning in. We'll catch you all on the next podcast. And just like I said, thanks for all the support. It was awesome seeing everybody. It's easy to get hyped up about shows when there's a lot of people showing up. So it helps everybody. But guys, got any final words?
Nope. I just
All right.
thank everybody for sticking it out with the rain, the fans, the spectators, our staff. They got to stand out there and get wet. And we can't appreciate it enough.
I was cracking up. I looked at Vince during that downpour, and he looked miserable. He was over there wringing his shirt out.
He already said if there's rain in the forecast for any other show, he ain't gonna be there.
Yeah, I heard him say that.
Yeah, we got some troopers, and they don't really complain about it whenever it's happening. They might give us some shit about it whenever it's over, but takes a lot to stand out there in the rain, and the drivers to stick through it, and the fans. It's all appreciation, it seems like, but we really do appreciate it more than everyone else knows.
That's some dedication there, and I feel like we might have had a better big car count with the street stocks if we didn't have a bunch of rain in the forecast. Some people don't want to drive 2 hours for a possible mud bog, and I think I can't wait for the next one. But Richland, Missouri is our next one. We'll talk about it more next week, and we'll have a couple guests on. And we thank everybody for tuning in. Go out there and send it. Thanks for listening to episode number 49.